to know what the club wants and to try to deliver what the club wants. Of course, Champions League is a big question mark always, especially because when you go to knockouts, the knockouts they have this unpredictability, but also because of the power of the opposition you are going to get. But my agreement with Inter was exactly that the first season was to keep that dominancy in Italian football, so to win the title for the third consecutive time, but at the same time to feel the needs for the Champions League.
Jose Mourinho's time at Inter Milan is often considered as one of the most influential and successful managerial stints in modern football. Spanning from 2008 to 2010, Mourinho transformed Inter into a European powerhouse, culminating in the historic treble in the 2009-2010 season. His time at the club is remembered for his tactical brilliance, man management, and ability to create a winning mentality. This video will provide a detailed view about Jose Mourinho's time at Inter, focusing on his tactics, key matches played, and statistical impact that he had on the club. Mourinho arrived at Inter the summer of 2008 after a successful period at Chelsea, where he had won 2 Premier League titles. At Inter, he replaced Roberto Mancini, who had delivered 3 consecutive Serie A titles but failed to make significant progress in the UEFA Champions League, which was a primary target for Inter's president, Massimo Moratti. When Mourinho took over, Inter had already established themselves as the dominant force in Italian football, but they were still desperate for European success. Moratti's vision aligned with Mourinho's ambition, and they set out to conquer both domestic and European titles. Mourinho's first season in Inter was about laying the groundwork for future success. He retained the core of the squad from Mancini's era, but added key players to suit his system. Inter's domestic form was solid, and they won the Serie A title with 84 points, finishing 10 points clear of second-placed Juventus. This was also Inter's 4th consecutive Scudetto. The Champions League campaign ended in disappointment as Inter was knocked out by Manchester United, losing 2-0 on aggregate. Mourinho later admitted that the team wasn't ready to compete at the highest level in European football yet. The defeat highlighted the need for reinforcements, particularly in the creative department, as Inter struggled to break down United's defense. Statistically, Inter were formidable domestically. They scored 70 goals in Serie A and conceded just 32, boasting the defensive record in the league. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the club's talisman, finished in the Serie A as the top scorer with 25 goals.
And the moment we were knocked out of the Champions League was against Manchester United. In that moment was the moment where I made my report to the club, and I told the owner and the sports director, for me, this is what we need to bring the team to the next level. And again, I think the work the club did was phenomenal in that summer. The market was tremendous. Then we had some crucial players, some key players, to a team that was incredible by in some aspects of the game. And then we went to that Champions League with the ambition, and we did it.
Mourinho's tactical approach at Inter was centered on defensive solidity, disciplined positioning, and rapid counterattacks. His system at Inter often used a flexible 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-1-2 formation, though he was not afraid to make tactical adjustments depending on the opponent. Mourinho's teams are typically known for their robust defense setups, and Inter was no different. He inherited a strong defensive line led by experienced players like Javier Zanetti, Walter Samuel, and Maicon. However, his greatest coup was bringing in Lucio from Bayern Munich in 2009. Lucio's partnership with Samuel became the cornerstone of Inter's impenetrable defense, which was crucial in their success. Mourinho also deployed Esteban Cambiaso as a defensive midfielder who acted as a shield for the backline, breaking up opposition play and distributing the ball efficiently. Mourinho prioritized speed and efficiency in transitioning from defense to attack. The fullbacks, Maicon and Christian Chivu, provided width, while the wingers, particularly Samuel Eto'o, were expected to track back defensively and then surge forward quickly in transition. Wesley Sneijder, who was signed in 2009 from Real Madrid, was the key playmaker in Mourinho's system. Sneijder was responsible for unlocking defenses with his passing and vision. Diego Milito, who arrived from Genoa, was the focal point of the attack, known for his clinical finishing and intelligent movement.
We were a team that defensively we were phenomenal on a low block, but I felt that we need to bring the line up 20 more meters to make the team much more dominant, to press higher, to be stronger. And I had a group of central defenders quiet in the last period of their career, and we need a fast center defender. That was fundamental for us. I wanted Ricardo Carvalho. We tried strong. Was not possible with Chelsea. And then, credit to the people that deserve the credit, my little structure in the club. That's why sometimes I say that sometimes simplicity is genius and complexity is to hide that you are not good enough. We had such a simple structure that immediately come with the name Lucio is the perfect player because he's really, really fast. Probably technically is not what you want from a player like Ricardo, but he's really, really fast. And he will give us what we want. Then we need to improve our passing quality in midfield. We had fantastic players, very strong in midfield, people like Zanetti, Stankovic, Montari, but we need to be more dominant, to be more in control. We need different, and Sneijder was the key for us. And then in attack, of course, we lost Zlatan to Barcelona, but we changed Zlatan for Milito and Eto'o. So the approach was very simple, and the team become really adapted, not just to keep dominating the Serie A, but also that kind of team, that kind of strong, cynic, intelligent, pragmatic team that could do it in Europe against the best teams.
One of Mourinho's greatest strengths is his ability to utilize his tactics in a way to neutralize their opponents completely. This was especially evident in the Champions League, where he often switched to a more compact defensive setup in away games. For example, in the 2010 Champions League semi-final against Barcelona, Mourinho used a 4-2-3-1 formation that became a 6-3-1 when defending. Eto'o played almost as a fullback to help double mark Lionel Messi and Dani Alves. This tactical flexibility allowed Inter to then eliminate Barcelona, who were at that time considered the best team in the world.
Why Mourinho is so special? Because, first of all, he's a winner. He has this winner mentality. He does everything to win. He knows the game. He reads the game well. He manipulates not the game, but the minds of his own players. And I remember when he came first time in Inter, he made everybody give 200%. But not for the team, not for the club, for him. And that for me makes him very special. Because when he came out, let's say in the big stage, was something different. It was not that classical coach. I remember I had Capello. Capello was hard, was disciplined, was respect. Mourinho brought that, but at the same time, he brought something else, the character. He had different character. He had this way of expressing himself. He was confident. He was not arrogant, because people say arrogance. I have the same thing. People say I'm arrogant, but I don't call it arrogant. I call it confident. Mm-hmm. Because when you're confident, it means that you're not powerful, but you're pretty sure for who you are. That is not arrogance. That is different. Ignorant call it arrogance. The intelligent, they call it confident.
The 2009-2010 season is arguably the greatest season in Inter Milan's history. It was a campaign that saw Inter win the Champions League, Serie A and Coppa Italia, making them the first Italian team to win the treble. Mourinho's tactical brilliance, along with the recruitment of key players, was pivotal to this success. Mourinho made several key signings ahead of the 2009-2010 season, with Wesley Sneijder Diego Milito, Samuel Eto'o, and Lucio being the most significant additions. Eto'o arrived as a part deal that saw Zlatan Ibrahimovic move to Barcelona, a transfer that turned out to be a big mistake. While Ibrahimovic was a world-class forward, Eto'o's work rate and willingness to sacrifice for the team fit perfectly into Mourinho's system. Upon Zlatan's departure, Mourinho warned him, telling him that he might be looking for Champions League success somewhere else, but this year, Inter would win it all. In the Champions League group stage, Inter were drawn into a tough group with Barcelona, Rubin Kazan and Dynamo Kiev. They finished second in group, behind Barcelona, with 2 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss. The group stage tested their resilience, but it also set stage for the knockout rounds, where Mourinho would showcase his tactical prowess. In a highly anticipated match, Mourinho faced his former team Chelsea in the round of 16. Inter won 2-1 at the San Siro and followed it up with a 1-0 win at Stamford Bridge. Mourinho's tactical nous was on full display as Inter nullified Chelsea's attacking threats and capitalized on defensive vulnerabilities. Samuel Eto'o scored a decisive goal in the second leg, sending Inter through to the quarter-finals.
It was not an easy way to do it. We were not a lucky team in the draws. We start by having immediately Barcelona in the group phase. Then we go to the knockout and we play Chelsea in the first knockout tie. And then we have Barcelona again in the semi-finals. And then we go to the final and we have Bayern Munich. So it was really, really strong. So I think it was a very good achievement for us, but especially because we broke that psychological wall, 50 years without doing it. And if you remember what Inter was in the 80s, in the 90s, almost every top player in the world played for Inter, and they never managed to do it. So to break that psychological wall was very important. And the game against Chelsea in the last 16 was probably the key moment. Was the moment where people start believing and feeling that we had a team for that, to come to Stamford Bridge and win there.
Mourinho continued to build his defense principles, but added more flexibility in the attack. The 4-2-3-1 formation became the primary setup, with Milito leading the line, Sneijder orchestrating play in the number 10 role, and Eto'o and Gordon Pandev playing as wide forwards. One of the defining features of Mourinho's Inter was their ability to control the tempo of the game. They were excellent at sitting deep, absorbing pressure, and then breaking forward with devastating pace. The midfielder duo of Cambiaso and Thiago Motta provided the perfect balance of ball distribution and defending. Sneijder's creativity added the flair that Inter had lacked the previous season, and Milito's lethal finishing made them a constant threat. Defensively, Inter were nearly impenetrable. Lucio and Samuel formed one of the best centre-back partnerships in Europe, while Maicon provided both defensive solidity and attacking inputs from the right back. Mourinho's system was all about balance, with every player knowing their role to perfection. In the first semi-final leg, Inter faced Barcelona. And this match is one of Inter's most famous matches in their history, facing the reigning European champions while producing a tactical masterclass. After conceding an early goal to Pedro, Inter fought back with goals from Sneijder, Maicon and Milito. Mourinho's men were disciplined, aggressive and clinical in their counterattacks. The 3-1 victory at the San Siro gave them a crucial advantage heading into the second leg. The return leg at the Camp Nou is another iconic moment in Mourinho's career. Inter were reduced to 10 men after Thiago Motta was sent off in the first half, but Mourinho's tactical adjustments made them hold on despite intense pressure from Barcelona. Inter lost 1-0 but advanced to the final with a 3-2 aggregate win. Mourinho famously celebrated on the pitch after the final whistle, a moment that encapsulated his triumph over Barcelona and their style of play.
We played with Julio Cesar in goal, we played with the back four, Maicon, Lucio, Samuel and Zanetti, and then we had during the game a different positioning in relation to the movement of Barcelona players and to our analyze of our difficulties, and after also analyzing our possibilities of hurting the opponents. Is a two-leg, the first leg at home, and obviously we know that the second leg in Barcelona would be even a more difficult match for us to play. But basically this was Mota and Cambiasso and Schneider, Eto'o and Pandev and Diego Milito, and in some moments of the game we bring Pandev more to the inside and Eto'o more close to Diego, and being most occupying the central zone with almost a diamond, but giving Eto'o the chance to try to be more close to Diego. But this was the basic situation. Barcelona at that time, even still today, even before that, the back four, and then Busquets, Xavi, Keita. Iniesta was not starting the game, and then Ibrahimovic was the striker. This was Pedro, and this is the guy I forget the name. Some player that they had there. Messi. This was the guy, and was with him that we started by analyzing and trying to predict the game and trying to anticipate the problems. At that time, they had Ibra as a 9 and fixing the centre backs, and Messi was playing from the right, but obviously with the freedom to go to many different areas. Dani Alves was the player to go forwards all the time and to try to create this situation here. Our decision basically was what we are going to do when this situation happen, of Messi going in between the lines and Alves going forward. Are we going to get Zanetti on Messi, but then he will be dragged out of position, and then Alves will be all the time in here, and then Pandev or Eto'o, they are going to end playing almost as left back. How are we going to resolve this situation? And the situation for us was very, very clear, which was he cannot play alone when he come in between the lines. So this player here must be a player totally in control of this area here, always in communication with the left back, and there is a moment where he becomes yours and I stay in the zone. So there was a combination of ideas, but basically everything was around not let Messi play like a jail to Messi. A part of that, we just need to be really compact and don't give them too much space. They are going to have the ball more than us, much more than us, obviously, because many times they were moving the ball without hurting, and we must be mentally strong to cope with that. Let them have the ball. The second part of the plan was exactly how to hurt them, because it's a first leg at home. We need to win the match, we need to score goals. Obviously, that's the strategy to try to hurt them was in our attacking transition, the moment we recovered the ball. And we knew, of course, the way of their building up. And then, because we were always trying to make it compact and bringing Pandev, Eto'o all to the inside and to make it a very compact area, letting the ball go to the sides, and then when they define the side, then we decide that this is the trigger for us to press. From the compact block we had, not to be afraid to attack these spaces where we are going to hurt them. But then we knew that also because that was not the kind of challenge that they had to face week in, week out in the Spanish league. And we had very fast people. We had very fast people attacking the spaces, and we had people with the right mentality and the right coaching of arriving into these positions. So we were fundamentally going from a defensive low block, but going very, very strong with 3, 4, 5 players into attacking positions in the transition, and it worked. I think it worked, and we were totally in control.
The Champions League final against Bayern Munich in Madrid was a fitting end to Inter's remarkable campaign. Diego Milito scored both goals in a clinical performance, but it was Inter's defensive organization and ability to control the game that stood out. Mourinho's Inter nullified Bayern's attacking threats, with Lucio and Samuel putting in stellar performances. The 2-0 win secured Inter's first European Cup since 1965 and completed what was the perfect treble. Jose Mourinho's time at Inter Milan has been filled with memorable moments and iconic quotes that have become part of the football world. His success at the club, particularly the historic treble win in 2010, was underpinned by his unique ability to motivate his players, his tactical approach, and his larger-than-life personality. Mourinho's quotes and moments from his time at Inter continue to resonate with football fans around the world, reminding us of the period when the special one truly lived up to his name.
2010, we won the league, and in 2 years I was so happy in that club with that group of players. I felt that connection is here, the brotherhood, you know.
And in football news, Inter Milan has dominated the Italian league yet again. With their winning record, the team breezes into the Champions League as a frontrunner to win the prestigious European Cup.
For 50 years, Inter was chasing the Champions League. I knew that in that year I had to win for my boys. But during the tournament, I had a very important offer to leave. It was Real Madrid. To go to Madrid and to face the biggest challenge any coach or any team could have, which was to try to beat Barcelona, the best team of that moment, to try to beat them and win the Spanish league. And I thought, I have to make a decision.
It's Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan in the 2010 Champions League final.
People used to say that the train doesn't stop twice. So I thought it may be the best thing for my career to make that movement. I am very, very emotional, but I try to internalize this emotion for the big decisions.
Dell'Inter Milito, una finta, in area, ancora! E il principe, sempre Milito, porta in vantaggio l'Inter.
We won that night the Champions League, and was an incredible moment for all of us. But for me, since the beginning of my career, I had a dream, which was to win the championship in the 3 biggest leagues in Europe. So I did England. And since I did Italy that night, I knew that I have to try to do it in Spain too. So I decided I was going to Real Madrid the next day for the new job. In the end of the game, I didn't want to go to the dressing room. I didn't want to go to the bus, and I didn't want to go back with them to Milan. Because if I did, I think I wouldn't want to go to Real Madrid. So I just tried to run away. But I saw one of the players outside the bus. I had to stop. And no words. I don't remember one single word.